Self-awareness and self-reflection are the two values that resonated the most with me from Kramer's book. He talks about an increased personal reflection. Increased personal reflection leads to better understanding of oneself on page 14. And I truly believe that while before I became a leader, over a leader of a large team in government, I'm not sure that I did that well. I'm not sure that I spent time self-reflecting. And the reason, why was because I never was forced to. But once you have to lead people, once you receive feedback, once you try different things and it doesn't work, then you notice that you must change your approach. And in order to change your approach, you have to be self-aware. This value is now very important to me because if my team is not successful, I'm not successful. What really resonated with me about the concept of values-based leadership also too is, and this relates to Kramer's book as well, is this whole idea of balance and perspective. Being able to see issues holistically, based on my own knowledge and the knowledge of others, which was on page 28. And self-awareness, self-reflection, balance, and perspective are all critical to being a values-based leader. And I'm not sure that I've done those well either as a leader, although I've been forced to have to do more of it. I'm not sure I've achieved that. As a very young leader and as a millennial, I think we're used to doing things the same way, because it works, and then, just trying to get the results. And alternatively, there's a saying that, doing the same thing, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. But I say all that to say that, Professor, you talked about leading in fear. And I do believe that I lead in fear. Kramer agrees that in the face of crisis, anger and fear need to be minimized. Leaders need to be able to make swift and compassionate decisions. That's on page 178. And, even the fact that you can be compassionate and courageous at the same time on 180 and 181. And so just to kind of sit with this and think about it, when it comes to my leadership, I believe that fear leads to anxiety. And that anxiety is truly not healthy personally, but it's not healthy professionally. And I think I can project that onto my team. And again, I, in that case, I don't believe that I exhibit heroic ambition, which is interesting because I do consider myself to be a very ambitious person. Another piece of this, and I think a theory from Dugan is, the theory of, emotionally intelligent and leadership. The consciousness of self, the consciousness of others, and the consciousness of context, are all the foundation of this theory, and how these three components leads to positive outcomes for groups and individuals. That consciousness piece, wrapped in self-awareness and wrapped in balance and perspective are vital. And especially in government, right? I'm not going to ever get it right all the way every time. But the goal is to continue to get better. And one of my team members said that I've inspired a culture of fear. And I think that's a result of my own fear and my own anxiety. One theory that, I believe that, that I should work against is the theory of the leader-member exchange. A group is only as strong as its weakest member. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not necessarily think about it that way. All I thought about was, how do I get in team members that's gonna lead the way I do? How do I bring in folks that are gonna just listen and get the work done? But I'm not effective if my team isn't effective, if they're not growing, if they're not delivering, if I can't get them to rise to the occasion. What does that really say about me? I truly think that, while hierarchy exists in every setting, it's really the collective that matters. And Dugan talks about talks about that on 152. It's the collective that matters, and ensuring that we are all driving towards the same mission. We're all driving towards the same vision. And making sure that we can have consistent and honest feedback. One example is one of my strongest team members onboarded me and was my assistant deputy director. And while she has many strengths, policy-wise, she's not necessarily the best manager. But then told me, the fact that she, felt some type of way because she used to be in leadership and now she's not, and I'm bringing in someone else to lead. And we had to have an open and honest conversation in which she shared with me how she felt, and I shared with her the reason I was bringing in the person that I was bringing. All of these are crucial to being a values-based leader. All of these are crucial and important to not leading in fear. And all of these are key takeaways that, I've gotten not just from the groups, but the group readings and the readings in general, but just from experience. And, one example from my presentation was, the fact that when Kramer had to, cut everyone's budget at Baxter, and he brought everyone together, and they had to be cut by 10%, and he didn't know how they would respond. They ended up getting it done, and while I don't think that always would work, clearly Kramer knew that he would have to make concessions. Clearly Kramer was self-aware and conscious enough and didn't lead in fear that he knew he needed to make it happen. And I need to practice that. Those are the concepts that I'm going to practice. That's how I'm going to apply and put those in my work. And being in a global pandemic has not made that easy. But I also truly feel as if I had been exhibiting more authentic leadership, exhibiting more self-consciousness, exhibiting not thinking about just myself, because that's what I was thinking about, but thinking about others, and not, subscribing to this theory of, you should lean on stronger members, but subscribing to the theory that, a team is only as strong as its weakest link. Another big piece, that I want to talk a little bit about is genuine humility, which Kramer also talks about. No matter how far you've risen, not forgetting where you started. And I don't believe I've forgotten where I've started, but sometimes it becomes easy for that to become blurred. And the fact that, change should always be expected, but with change comes challenges, which is in Kramer 170. So again, I should have knew this was challenging. I should have knew that I couldn't lead in the same way that I led in the past. But I also can't do the same thing expecting a different result. Another thing that Dugan talks about is trait-based leadership. Like groups should select leaders and provide opportunities for leadership development, based on that trait that emerges through like empirical research. So, I can't fully say that I understand all of those traits on my team, and I strive to put those in practice. There's a kind of, there's this idea that, leaders are not just simply born, but they're also made. I would push back on the idea that all leaders are developed. I mean, you could say someone's a born leader, but truly, are you? You have to be groomed and crafted by somebody. You have to be influenced by some leader or mentor. And you have to have some type of leadership development. All in all, I know that I will be a great leader someday, although I don't necessarily believe I've met the mark now. I learned a lot about authentic leadership and values-based leadership in this course and from the readings and from my group projects. I know that I still got a long way to go, but I do have hope. I do have confidence that I will get there. And so as a young black leader, as a young male leader, this gives me a lot to think about. It gives me a lot to absorb. And, again, just kind of revisiting Dugan's theory of emotional intelligent leadership, that consciousness of self, that consciousness of others, and the consciousness of context are all things that I strive to continue to make best practices in my life and everyday habits. So, I'll seek first to understand and to be understood. What that's not in our readings, that's in Stephen Covey, 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. Striving to be a level 2 listener and not just a level 1 listener, listening for understanding, especially for my team. And, striving to lead with vision and lead with authenticity and lead with values that will help me leave a legacy. So I appreciated the opportunity to be a part of this course and appreciate the lessons that I've learned in the leadership that you've exhibited, Professor Scales. Thank you.